Program B is subject psychology, Unit 3 sensation, attention and perception, semester first and session number 4. Today topic is attention and under determinates objective and subjective. As a selective mental process, attention is determined by several factors. It can be characteristic of stimulus, internal needs, expectancy, and past experience. However, our purpose we can classify these factors into two. One is the external factors, other one is the internal factors. External factors. Attention is a subject to mental process. Objective factors in the environment determine what the person has to attend. External factors include those associated with the stimulus condition known as objective factors of attention. Some important external factors which contribute to attention are explained. The first one is the nature of stimuli. The nature of stimuli represent whether attention involves word or picture, smell or taste, a man or a woman, an animal or a plant, a product of an inanimate object. It found that various forms of stimulation from some same sources could influence attention. Normally, picture attract attention more readily than words. Similarly, a picture with human beings tends to attract attention more than a picture of inanimate objects. A rhyming auditory passage like a nursery rhyme attracts the attentions more readily than the same passage presented in the form of narrations. All these examples show how nature of stimulus influences the process of attention. The next one is the novelty of our stimuli. Novelty of stimuli is another factors that help us to becoming a and attention and as usual and regular events. Any usual thing or irregular event is sure to give much attention. Object, sound, smell and taste to which one is accomplished may go unnoticed, but one will notice a strange stimulus immediately and attend to it. For example, in this textbook term, the italics are in bold letters catch attention more readily than other letters. The other thing is the intensity of the stimuli. A brilliant advertisement sign or tone from a loudspeaker attract attention more readily than a dimly lighted sign or a soft tone from a record player. This illustrates the effects of the intensity of the stimulus in gaining attention. So, strong stimuli will attract more attention quickly than a weak one. The bold letters among the small letters stand out because of their relative thickness. Similarly, intense odors, heavy pressures, and intense taste and pain gains attention easily, especially when they suddenly vary from the previous stimulations. The next factor is the content difference and external factors. In content difference, we can see size, color, movement, repetition, and duration. So, first we'll see what is the meaning of contrast or difference. Thing against a contrasting a background and surroundings attract attention. Things with the contrast in certain surroundings catch ready attention. Say a student nurse who reads the sentence cannot escape noticing the word printed in capital letter. You notice it as soon as you turn to his page. The intensity of the stimulus and the contrast facility gaining the attention. The first one is size. The size of the stimulus also influence attention. Suppose two stimuli compete for your attention. You will notice bigger one first. If all the letters on this page were capitals, the words may not gain attention. The next one is the color. It is an undeniable fact that certain colors get more of our attention than others. People vary in colors preference who are more interested in color, background and in gray, red and white designs catch the attention more than black and white ones. If there is a color word on this page, you will notice it long before you read paragraph containing that word. The next one is a movement. Another equally important stimulus factors in a Perception is a movement. Human beings are sensitive to movement, other qualities being equal. A moving object catches more attention than a stationary one. The laws moving flashing the new science in carnivores and festivals illustrate the value of moving stimulus. The next one is a repetition. Repetition or continued representation of the stimulus is another important factor in attention. When stimuli are repeated, though, it may fail to catch attention initially. It does come sooner or later. A person in crowd calling out of your name repeatedly, you may eventually attend to it. The next one is a duration. Yes, duration of a stimulus can also influence attention because a stimulus lasting longer attracts more attention than another short ones. Internal factors beside the external factors, there are internal factors more important in determining the stimulant in catch our attention. These are called subjective factors because they are within the subject. Internal factors include needs, motive, short term and long term interest, set or expectancy. Past experience culture, the permanent characteristic of the individual is habits of attention and inattention and temporary. Traits like interest and set are also decisive. Some of the internal factor influencing attention. Motivation, our motives always guide us to what to do, attain and what not. Motives are organic conditions like needs and psychological states, physical or social deprivations related to basic human motives influence attention. Motivated by a hunger, you are most likely to notice that smell of a delicious food than reading a novel. So, likely completing your course, you are surely to attend to job and advertisement. The next one is interest. Innate or acquired interest draws the attentions to a particular thing. Is the long term or short term interest are decisive as what object how a person would attend first. All of us attend to objects of our own interest. Often interest and attention go side by side. The interest guide the person's attention. Events are objects which have created a person interest and attract attentions rather than the object, and events are no interest initiality. The next one is fatigue is a physical as well as mental fatigue detrimental to attention, and untrained person has less ability to observe his or her patients vigilantly. The next one is the expectancy is another important factor is conduce to attention to the stimuli is the perceiver expectancy. Your attention is directed towards those objects or events which you have set receive. The term expectancy refers to our readiness to attend to something on which our mind is set. Individually is a vary the habitual or momentary interest face to face with a stimulus. The next one is emotion. Emotions are our general mood. Also is determine our attention is influenced by emotions. We may become very sensitive to some remarks or objects which are normally neglected unless emotional states. The next thing is attitude and prejudice. The attitude and prejudice also is affect to what extent an individual is inclined to attend to events or ideas. And the next one is habits. Habit is a fact of a behavior, often repeatedly automatically dressing, eating, the work habits and such as daily activities become so ready-made that they are automatic. The other thing is temperament. Temperament is other important internal determinants to attention are dispositions of a person, natural inclination and impairment, and temperament which reflects the is the physical constitutions both affect a manner of thinking, feeling, and acting, and thus a person religious disposition is spiritually temperament make him to attend religious functions. The last one is a aim. Our immediate and ultimate goals influence our attention. A student's immediate aim to pass his examination, so his interest focus on attending a class, taking and notice and reading and books, etc. The above factors have been classified as subjective and objective for convenience, but they are rather subjective and non-objective. Exactly. All the above factors depend on the physiological and psychological makeup for the observer. These are the reference book for present session. That is a Robert Feldman and Understanding Psychology in the year of 2011, and Introduction to Psychology by Ernest Hilger and Richard Atkinson and Rita Atkinson.